All right. So we're starting with Ois Vov. The Rebbe explained three madregas before. We learned about three madregas, and uh, we learned about the three first 3 years when you plant the tree. The Rebbe explained according to the Kabbalah that you're planting from Zo in Malchus, the earth, Taltem Kol Eitz Michael, that you plant in the ground. The ground is Malchus. And the first 3 years, it gets from the level of the Nihi, Netzachod Yisoid of Zo. And because it comes only from the part of the Midas, which is Negea Lemaisa, there is possible that to stray away. And therefore, you have to also that's why the Torah says it's Osur Bahanoah. Then you have the Bashon Horevi, the fourth year. Then your Mamshich also from Tiferes, or the 2/3 or 1/3 lower of Tiferes. And on the fifth year, you get from the upper level from Tiferes. That's the level Bashon HaChamishis. And the Rebbe explained also that the first four is the four letters of the Shem Havaya, and then the Hey, that's the Koitzer Shel Yud. That's the point of the Yud. Now, the Rebbe is going to explain this whole idea, how it is in Avodah Sa'odom. These different levels, the way we discussed it in the Kabbalah, how it is in Avodah Sa'odom. Well, Biur Ha'inyan the Gimel Chalukis Elu Ba'avodah Sa'odom, to explain the idea of these three categories, these three different levels in the service of man. How could we apply it? What does it mean when we serve the Eibishter? What does it mean the first 3 years? What does it mean the fourth year? And what's the fifth year? Yesh loimer. So we can say. So planting is in Malchus. The Inyan HaMalchus, Hu Kiyum HaTorah Mitzvahs B'Poel Mamish. The idea of Malchus is the fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs in actuality. That is, b'machshava, dibur, umaisa, in thought, speech, and action. Malchus means what? What is the Malchus means? The actual doing the mitzvahs by thinking, speaking, and doing Torah mitzvahs. That's the Malchus. What does it means planting Netzachod Yisoid into Malchus? V'zeh shemekayim Torah mitzvahs b'poil mamish. How does he fulfill the Torah mitzvahs in actuality? Who al yidei hamshachas v'gilui hamidos b'hamachshava dibru ma'aser. That is by bringing down and revealing the midas in the machshava dibru ma'aser. That means to bring down zo into malchus means to bring down the midas into the ma'aser, into machshava dibru ma'aser, to bring down the midas into the levushim, into the machshava dibru ma'aser, so that a person actually does Torah mitzvahs. How does he do that? He does it by bringing down from his emotions the midos into dibur ma'aser. And there is three different ways. V'yesh bazeh gimel leifanim. And there is three ways that the midos come down into the machshava dibur ma'aser, which means like the zo in malchus, which would mean the midos, which is zo, into machshava dibur ma'aser, which is malchus. What are the three ways? The kisha hamshocha irak menihi, when the hamshocha from the midos is only from netzach hoid yisoid, from the midos, the midos elu heim rak b'negeya lepoil. These midos are only as the midos as it is to actuality. You have the midah by itself, the motion by itself, and then you have the emotion as it is to impact. The netzach hod yesod of midos are the midos as they are in actuality to bring that emotion, not for yourself, not your feeling, not the person's feeling, but it's how the feeling comes to the outside to actually doing the midas. Hine. So because it only comes from netzach hod yesod, from the midas as their negei lepoil. Hine av shenetzach hod yesod heim shoykayim v'raglayim shemelichin oisei lemokem aroi. So the midas are compared to a body. So like chesed, the level of chesed is the right hand. The level of gevura is the left hand. The level of tiferes, that's the middle, that's the body. And then you have netzach, hod, and yesod, which are the legs, the thighs and the legs. So netzach, hod, yesod, they are the afshenihem shekayim v'reglayim. They're the thighs, they're the feet, which means they lead you to the proper place to go in the path of Hashem. So you do have netzach hod yesod, you have the feet, you have the direction. That's the coil that the midos impact the machshava dibur ma'aser. To go in the way of Hashem. And still, so what's the problem? Even she'ein loy chayis b'kiyum ha'tshelu mitzvahs, since he doesn't have an energy, a passion, a vitality in the observance of Torah mitzvahs. Netzach hod yesod is not an emotional, that's just the practical part of the midos, but it's not an energy, it's not a chayis in the observance of Torah mitzvahs. The hachayis b'Torah mitzvahs hu al yidei ava v'yira davke. The energy of Torah mitzvahs, the vitality is only through love and fear, which means the chesed, the gevura of the midas, not the netzach hod yesod. It's the ava v'yira davke. So since it only has netzach hod yesod, lochein efshar, that's why it's possible. Shebemeshach hazman, that over time tia chalishus ba'avidosei, there will be a weakening in his service because he doesn't have the real ava v'yira. It may not last. It will be a weakness. Ubefrat, especially in the service when we talk about Bekadish atzmecha b'mutalach, in the area that you must sanctify yourself in even things that are permissible. So we have regular Torah mitzvahs that we are commanded to do. We are also commanded Kaddish atzmecha b'mutalach, even things that are permissible. You still need to be mekadosh yourself. You still need to make yourself holy. But because he doesn't have the Ava V'yira, he can weaken after time in his avodah. He'll weaken because he only has the netzach hod yesod. He only has the externality of the level of the midas, the netzach hod yesod. That's why there can be the ad. But once you fail, sheyavim mizeh l'dvarim ha'asurim, you may even come to matters that are prohibited, koilel, gam, dvorim ha'asurim b'hanoah, also not just prohibited eating, such an extent that it's even also b'hanoah. So therefore, how do you make sure when you don't have yet the pnimiyus hamidus, you're not serving the Eibishter because you have ava v'yira, you just have the level of Netzach Yisoid, how do you make sure that you are going to be continuing to follow this path, that you're going to continue to do this without weakening? That's why the avodah needs to be ba'ofen shel iskafia. You have to have it in a way of forcing yourself. You don't have a chayis, it's not with the Abba V'yira, but it is with iskafia. And this level of iskafia, pushing yourself for Yeshleimar, shehu al derech ha'emuno shelematam hadas. This would be similar to emuno, which is lower than das. As we spoke about earlier, that there is a level of emuno, which, like by Moshe Rabbeinu, which is after das, but then there's level of emunah that comes before das, and you need emunah because you don't have yet the level of das. That is ha'aniyus, the level of por shalifnei ha'avodah the hashamayim kisi, which is before the avodah of hashamayim kisi, which is already Torah mitzvahs. But when you're really poor kipshuti, ainoni bedas, you don't have the basis, so you have Amunah. Shagam Amunah Zu, but he explained before that even this Amunah that comes before Das, which is below Das, he ba'atzmus. It's also an atzmus. He said before about the two segels, top and the bottom, they're connected. So there is Gilu Atzmus, Elo. It is ba'atzmus, Elo. She'ein bozeh Gilu ha'atzmus. There is no the revelation about the revelation of Atzmus comes in the Emunah that follows Hashemayim Kisiv and Bayis, follows the Avodah. But there you have the Gilu Atzmus, Kinal Seif Sivdal, that I said before in Seif Sivdal. But still, in the Emunah taps in that Emunah doing with Iskafia, that taps in to Atzmus. This is similar to what is explained in the Likutei Torah, Be'inyan Gimel Shnei Orlo Kipshuto. When we talk about the 3 years of Orlo, that you can't eat the fruit. Here we're talking about the 3 years of Orlo. We're talking about that he doesn't have, he has only Netzach Yisoid in his Avodah. But literally, the first 3 years, you don't eat the fruit, literally. So this says in Likutei Torah, the fact that the person breaks his desire, he waits 3 years, he planted the tree, and he has to wait 3 years, and he fulfills the prohibited, the Torah says, the sholi shonim yu lochem arelim, that for 3 years it should be closed, stuffed, you cannot use the fruit. But he pushes himself. He has to force himself. He just plants. He wants to eat it, but he pushes himself. That fulfillment of this mitzvah, says Likutei Torah, about the mitzvah of not eating the fruit of Orla, it's similar to the idea of moidim, we admit loch to you. There is the level, the 4th year, we say that on the 4th year that is Kodesh Hilulim. There's 2 things. There is to praise Hashem and to admit to Hashem. Praising Hashem, that's the Hilul. But Moidim Anachnu Loch, that's to admit. Admitting is Locho to Hashem, to Atzmus. He's going to explain. Shahahaido Ilecho. If it's Moidim is Lecho, Lemahusei V'Atzmusi Yisbarach. So basically, that the Rebbe is saying that the 3 Shnei Orlo, the Amuna, the first 3 years, the serving the Eibishter by Iskafia with Amuna, before you even get to the level of understanding, that is taps to Atzmus, as the Alter Rebbe says there, Moidim anachnu loch, shahaydo hilucho lemehusei v'atzmusei yizbarich. It's to the Eibishter's Mehus and Atzmus. Elo. So why? Because it's Moidim. Moidim means we admit she'ein ze ba'ofen shehilu. It's not in a way of praising. The Hilu Gilui. You can praise the Eibishter when Eibishter is revealed to you. It's a reveal. Then it's this Hilu. But when we talk about Moidim, we talk about Hidoah, that's not Gilui, that is L'chod, that is to Asmus. Kibuva b'Likutei Torah, as brought down Likutei Torah, Shehilul Huloshen Ha'ora. Hilul is a language of a shine. Kimoi b'Hilul Neira, the Neira shined. That's the Lashon of Hilul. But in this case, Moidim Anachnu Loch, it's Verak be'ofen shel Hidoah. This is just in a way of admitting, this is a way of Helam, that it's not revealed, but you're admitting to the Eibishter. Basically, the Rebbe brings this down to say that also the Madrege of Nehi, when it shines only Nehi, you have to employ Amuna or Iskafia in order to go in the path, to continue, not to weaken. In that Amuna, there is the Gilu Atzmus, even though it's the Amunah that comes before Da'as, but yet over there it taps in to the level of Atzmus, just like it's not Giluya Atzmus, but there is connection to Atzmus, just like the Moedim Anachnu Loch that the Alter Rebbe brings down in Likutei Torah, literally that the first 3 years, it's like Loch, because Moedim, this is a higher level, only Heidah to the level of Atzmus. So after the first 3 years, then you come to the 4th year. What does it mean, the 4th year? That in Malchus you also get Tiferes. We talked about this 1/3 or 2/3 of the lower part of Tiferes. What does this translate in the service of the person? That in his machshava dibur ma'aseh nimshach gam me'atzmius hamida. So the essence of the midah also comes down. Tiferes includes chesed and gvura, so you get not only the midah as it's bepoil in nehi netzach hod yisoid, but also from the essence of the midah, which is avav yira. And then also v'chein simchas levov. And also the level of Abba Yira and the joy of the heart, b'tif'eres havaye v'hadar ge'oinei, in the beauty of Hashem and the glory of His greatness, His exaltness, shabo al yidei li'istakolo b'ikora demalko. That comes through gazing at the precious of the king, meaning when a person reflects in the davening, he's misboinen, listakolo, he gazes in Korah de Malko, he gets to a level of simcha. So the mitzvahs, machshava dibur ma'ases, are infused with love and yira, and also infused with a level of simcha because of the appreciation and the tiferes, the beauty, through his meditation and godliness. So when the person comes to this higher level, so at that point, when you bring in the level of Abba V'Yira, the level of Tiferes, and you bring in that level of Abba V'Yira and Simcha, then the service is now, you don't have to push away. To push away the Hashem, because when you have the love of Hashem, the bad is repugnant by you. He can't stand the Ra. He loves Hashem. He doesn't have to fight with the Ra. The Ra is disgusting by him. You don't have to push it away. What you need to do, what we do then, is through this level of Aviyira Simcha is lahamshich toisvis oir. We bring down additional light in the avodah, not to need to fight the negative dera, but to bring down. That is the avodah of Bashana Horevis. After you have the avodah of Iskafia, then you have the avodah of the oir, the Aviyira, to bring down more light. Zehu shebishana revis yir kol piriyai kodesh hiludim v'ashavaya. That's why on the fourth year, all the fruit is kodesh, is praising lahavaya. What does it mean? The inyan ha-hilul, kodesh hiluli means hilul, when you praise the Eibush, that we bring down this level of avaya into the world. The inyan ahilu, what is the idea when you praise the Eibishter? Is kemavur b'lekut Torah b'pirush hakosu. The Torah explains the meaning of the verse. V'ato kodesh yoshev tihilos Yisrael. Tihilos is the praise of the Yid. That's the hilulim. So ato kodesh, the Eibishter who is separate, who is distinct, who is high, yoshev sits down. He is nimshach through tihilos Yisrael. Shehu Yisbarach mitzad atzmei, he blessed on his own, who kodesh umuvdul. He's holy and he's distinct, he's separate. Vayidei tehilas Yisrael, hu yoshev v'nimshach lamata. Through the praises of the Yidden, the Eibishter is yoshev and extends below. V'yesh loymar. So this is the avodah of Bashana Horevis, to infuse and to bring down in the avodah the additional lahoisif, additional, not to fight the Ra, but to bring in more, to be able to stakola be kora the malka, to gaze and to get more enthusiasm in the mitzvahs. Yeshloimar shual derech avodah shemitzad nara. That is similar to the avodah that comes from nefesh ruach and neshama, which is hashamayim kisi v'aretz adom רגלי. The avodah of the sholish shonim, that's the emunah that precedes the avodah of Naran, the avodah of Kabbalah soil. But after that, you have a Shemayim Kisi V'aretz Adom רגלי, which is the avodah that comes because from the Nefesh Ruach and Neshama. Umetzad HaMakif, and also the Makifim of Chai Yichida Bayis, at the level of Chai Yichida Bayis, Shmai Kis V'eza Bayis. Sha'al Yidei Zeh Nimshochim Umizgalim. Through serving the Eibishter with both, with the Nefesh Ruach and Neshama, and Ashmai Kisar Adom רגלי, and the Makifim with the Chai Yichida, which is Bayis. That's the way we extend and reveal the Apnimim v'Hamakifim Shalmayla. Elo Sh'hamshocha zu hirak mibchinas hagiluyim. That's only from the level of Giluyim. It's still, even though this is Yechida, Chai Yechida, this is Nefesh Ruach Neshama, it's all Giluyim. Kibur b'lekut Torah b'pirush hakosuf, moidim anachnu loch umahalilim l'shem tifartecha. The Rebbe quoted already before that Shahaidah hilecha, admitting, which comes after, so we'll see the level of Emunah is l'chol l'musav atzmusav v'hahilul, but the praising, which is the fourth, the level of Hashemayim Kisar and Reglim Bayis, hurak l'shmo yizbarach. This is only not loch, that is l'shem tifartecha. We say ulahalel meidem anachnu loch umahalelim as shem tifartecha. So hilul reaches the level of shame, but moedim comes to the level of loch. So the avodah of Naran and Chai Yichida are mamshich, the makifim and the pnimim, and it brings it down, but all in the level of the shem tifartecha. V'ayi deizeh boim achar kach l'shona hachamishis. That way, through this, you come later on to the Shona Chamishis. Shona Chamishis lahoisiv lochem tvuosei. That adds the tvua. which means toisvus oir, the additional light, shenimshach mikoitze shel yud kesem, the additional tvua. Then you come to the level of the lahoisif lochem tvua, so beyond that you come from the koitze shel yud kesem. I said before, the 4 years is the 4 daled oishis of the shem havaya. And the 5th year is to the Keser, the Koitzer Shel Yud, the Yeshleimer. What does this mean? Shinyone ba'avidus ha'adam. So what is the David Zon? Hu ha'amuna shalamaylam adas. That's the amuna that is higher than das. Sha'amuna shaloi hu mitzad ha'hakodesh. But that amuna comes for the recognition, not like the amuna that precedes it, but this comes out of a recognition sheleis machshava tfisa bei klal, that there is no machshava that can grasp him at all. So you already have a level of machshava that tfisa bei. You have the avoida of Shemayim Kisiv Oretz and the level of bayis, which you have an understanding and you have an appreciation, and also Yechaya Yechida into the higher levels. But when you come to the level of Emunah now, you see Leis Machshava Tfisa Beklal. No, we can't really grasp Hashem. The Emunah Zu Yeshnom Beis HaMailas. In this Emunah, you have both Mailas, not just the Emunah, but you also that you do and no das, but you have both. Shehi Batzmusa Yizbarich. First of all, it's in Atzmus, like that's the first one too. And Vishaha Atzmus Hu Begilui, and that it comes Begilui. And you realize that Leis Machshava to Tfisabay. What does it mean? What does it mean Atzmus is Begilui? His Begilui means that you realize that Atzmus is greater, that less Machshava Tfisabay. You know, you don't understand Atzmus, but you know that nothing can be that it's already revealed, not Atzmus the way it's in the Chatchila, the Amuna that precedes Tavayda, but that is Regilu. Hainu, Sheba Amuna Zu Nirgash Haflos Atzmus. In this Amuna, you feel the wonders how Atzmus is greater. Shekol HaHilulim VaHatishbochas. You sense all the praises and all the tishbachas that you give to Irak l'shem tifartecha. Ubeatzmusa yizbarech ein shach shum hilu, and ba'atzmusa there's no hilu. Verak emuna v'hidah, and only emuna and hidah, belief and hidah. Learn a few more minutes to finish up the mimer.
It's up to you, whatever you would like to.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just finish up. Another 5 minutes, we'll do it. I think. Okay.
Whatever it is.
All right. So basically, the Rebbe equated over here the level of Emunah before davening, then the avoida of or the Emunah that precedes, that comes first, which is plain Emunah, which even though it touches Atzmus, was not Gilui HaAtzmus. Then we have the avodah of nefesh, ruach, and neshama, which is Shamayim Kisiv Ha'aretz Adom Ragli. Then we have the avodah of bayis, the level of makifim yechida. But these are all the level that the person experiences giluyim. And then you have the emunah that follows, which you have an appreciation where atzmus comes down to gilui, because you sense that flaws atzmus. Zayin v'yeshloimar. Now the Rebbe explains the Zehu Shaperes Shana Revius En Necholim Elo B'Yerushalayim, and this is why the fruits of the 4th year are only eaten in Yerushalayim. So it is the 4th year. You have a limitation. It's shame. It's l'shem tifartecha. It's only the level of shame, and therefore there is limitations that you have to eat the fruit in Yerushalayim. But the 5th year, you can eat it anywhere. The fruit doesn't have to be kodesh. It is even tomei, because why? Because now we're talking about atzmus already. You can eat it anywhere. There's no restrictions. The revelation of the 4th year is limited, measured and limited. So how do we praise these fruit? Shemeviim oisam liYerushalayim, you have to bring them to Yerushalayim, l'shabeach u'l'halal l'shamayim. You have to bring them to Yerushalayim, because if you want to praise and you want to give to the heaven, to the shame, to the Eibishter, to the Shmoy, l'tvartecho, you have to bring it to Yerushalayim, where you can praise. But Vagilu the Shana Chamishis, but the revelation of the 5th year, since it is higher than the measure and limitation. That's why to thank Hashem for this addition in this Tvua, this is in every place. Meaning, you don't have the limitation, not Yerushalayim. You're talking about Atzmus. Atzmus Gil. This is not about Hilul. This is not about recognition, about Shem Tifartecha. This is to Atzmus, which is B'chol Mokem. And not only B'chol Mokem, also all kinds of fruit. V'gam b'peiros she'en b'em Kedusha. Also in peiros that don't have Kedusha. V'ad she'en echol mafilu b'tumah, to the extent they can be eaten even while you're not clean. So that means because it's by Atzmus, it doesn't have any limitation. And when you praise Hashem, these fruit that have no Kedusha, so then you bring down, you draw down from the Atzmus Sefirus, which is higher than being connected to Sefirus, and it extends very low. That's the way it's fulfilled, the intent of the Eibishter to make a dwelling place b'tachtonim, by bringing down Eibishter also into the lowest level, into peiros that don't have Kedusha, and in all places to bring down godliness there. Shahat tachten, shein tachten l'matem memenu, nase dira leizborech, loy b'atzmis, it becomes a dwelling place loy to atzmis. So basically, the Rebbe explained now that the 4th year, you have to eat it in Yerushalayim. There's limitation because we're talking about the Shem Tifartecho. It is a level of, a limited level. But when we reach to the level of Atzmus, when we come to the 5th year, which is the level, the level of Emunah, then we can bring down, to praise the Eibush, that we don't need to go to Yerushalayim, all kinds of fruit, and we still bring down the kavanah daira v'tachtonim, even not in Yerushalayim, even in peiros that are not Kedusha. Yesh ches, yesh la'osim. The idea she'avodah the shana revi'is shemetzad atzma b'seder v'adroga, that through the avodah of the 4th year, which on its own it's in an order and a step by step. Bo la'achrei ve'al yidei k'dimas ha'avodah the gimel shonim harishonos. It comes after and through the introduction of the first 3 years. So you have the avodah of the 4th year, and that comes after the 3 years. Nasi inya shel kvitza v'dilug gam b'avodah the shana revi'is. Also, the shana revi'is, there impacts a jump over. This is also the reason Shemavoida the Shana Revis from the Avodah Shana Boim Ragilu the Lamailo Mishtalshlu Shana Chamishis. That's why you come to a revelation higher than Ishtalshlu on the 5th year, which means that from the 4th you jump over to the 5th, which is connected connect us with the lesson of the Bal Yem HaLedes Tiferes Sheb'Tiferes. Rebbe Marash Tzorich Liyas Melechatchila Ariber, to go to begin over. This is a jump to come from the 4th to the 5th to the level of the Ma'ila Medidrak Bolas. Through our work, our service, our actions, especially especially Kol Doidi in Zabo. So we should hear the voice of our beloved Hashem. Oh, he's coming. Medalig al Ahonim, jumps over the mountains, Mekapetz al Gavois, jumping over the hills. Kipirush HaMedrash Shekoy Melech HaMashiach. The Medrash explains that this refers to the King Mashiach. Yovei v'yigalenu, that will come redeem us, Yelechenu, Keimius la'atzenu, V'korev Mamesh, bring us closely very soon. Okay, we'll leave it over here. And tomorrow, Mr. Hashem, will start at Lag Baimer Mamer already. Be'ezer Hashem. After that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Good day.